gonna make some tarts. So we're gonna make some pear, fig, and sage tarts.
And this is so great.
Like we're picking it up.
Yeah, we're gonna take just a little bit. These aren't hard.
Okay.
They're just mostly assembly. But these are really, really great for appetizers for your family. And these, you can't tell that they're vegan because the puff pastry is really kind of rich and flaky, and everyone likes that. So these are really a great tool for the family or the friends who like aren't buying the vegan thing. You don't have to even tell them.
Okay, let's get on to the tarts.
So the one kind of flavor that's interesting in this is we're actually gonna make a roasted garlic aioli.
Ooh, nice.
And so that's gonna go in the tarts and on top.
Okay.
Oh my goodness,
I'm a huge
right?
garlic fan.
We pre-roasted some garlic. And what we do is, you know how you make your quinoa at the beginning of the week? We roast garlic in the beginning of the week.
Really?
We use it in our dressings, in our sauces, in garlic aioli, you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
We take a bulb of garlic and we cut off the base. And then we put it down this way and we add some high heat oil, something like a safflower or a coconut oil, and some salt and pepper. We put this on and we roast it for about a half hour at 350 in the oven. Okay. And then you get, and Jenny will show you, she'll show you how magical this is.
You just get these little pieces that you can just squeeze right out of the,
you
want to try it?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because they just come right out.
There you go.
Isn't that easy?
Not only do they just come right out of the skin like that, and it's just super easy. We need a new word, by the way, for like skin on like a vegetable.
Yeah, can you come up with that?
We don't want to use the same terminology.
We don't like using eyes for potatoes and fingers for ginger, you know what I mean? Can you like help us out with that?
I think that's plenty.
I think, is that enough? Okay, all right.
I think
sheath, you know, you got a little sheath for the garlic here.
Sheath, yes, the garlic
Okay, perfect,
sheath.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, here's what you do to it, okay? This is the fun part, and I'm a lefty, so this is why I'm doing it over here.
All right.
Take your garlic and you
Just
literally just spread it out with your knife.
See,
you don't even have to cut it.
I'll just put that on a piece of toast, just like that, and eat that.
Yeah, do that. That's a good idea.
And you know, this way you don't really get as much of the garlic breath. Because what gives you garlic breath is actually the essential oils of the garlic sticking to the lung tissue.
Really?
And so that's why when you chew gum, it's like, sorry, it didn't really help much. You know what I mean? So this really helps mitigate that. We're gonna make our aioli out of nasoya mayonnaise. We really, really love this stuff. We use it in our ranch dressings and in our aiolis and anything that you would use mayo in.
Right.
We use this this mayonnaise in it.
So we're gonna scoop up all of our garlic, and then to help this come together, we're gonna use a little sea salt and pepper, lemon juice, and a little agave. So there's a little agave hiding out at the bottom there.
All right.
So I'll
it's
pour
time
it
to
in. Integrate it up. We only use sea salt in our cooking.
I sometimes use like regular iodized salt just for like to get really the iodine, to be honest. But I normally use sea salt.
And
well, you
actually,
know, sea salt actually has the iodine in it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
all right.
it does.
Scratch that from the tip.
The bleaching process, you know, regular old table salt actually has all the trace minerals taken out of it, but sea salt has a really high concentration of all those things.
Really?
So, yeah.
And so it has iodine in it too, huh?
So we think you should throw out your bleached salt.
You know,
Can we maybe make a deal? Thank you. Appreciate that.
And what happened is they, you know, people bleached salt, and then they realized that people had thyroid issues, and then that's why they had to add iodine in there.
Interesting.
It's
like
sick.
Yeah.
We're gonna use some puff pastry, and we like this brand because it doesn't have any trans fats in it.
Nice.
It's easy to find. It's a Whole Foods purchase.
All right.
It comes in the freezer, and you just leave it out to thaw for about a half hour or an hour before you use it.
When it says egg yolks on the ingredients, does that mean vegan?
My heart totally skipped a beat.
Mine did.
I was like,
we're thorough.
Oh my God. They changed it on us.
Yeah.
They change it sometimes. You gotta look. You gotta keep reading.
Stay on top of it, ladies.
You're good at recycling. I see you flattening that out like a really good recycler.
I know what we're doing.
What's up?
Thank you. I'll recycle that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in some pear. We're gonna cut that up. These are just dried, unsulfured black mission figs. So if figs aren't in season, you can find these guys. And then some sage, which is amazing, healing, beautiful, beautiful herb. So we can just kind of tear the leaves off if you want to grab some of these. I literally just, I'm not very precise. I go like that. And I tear off the top.
Are we cutting these up?
We're gonna cut it up.
We're gonna give them a little choppy.
So we're not doing the stems.
We're gonna compost the stemmies, and then we're just gonna use the leaves. Yeah, you're comfortable with the knife. We like it. We like it.
I
we
do
can't
a lot of
watch.
cutting. I do a lot of just kidding.
Oh my god!
Can you not give us a heart attack
There
like
we
5 times while we're cooking?
We got some sage cut up for you, blood-free.
Beautiful, beautiful. We'll put that in a bowl.
I swear, my goodness.
You enjoy giving us mini heart attacks, don't you?
Okay.
So it's got a good
So then, yeah, what you can do is you can't really eat the stem of this. So that's basically the part that you have to cut off, and you have to cut off the little end there, but you don't have to. I mean, we can help too if you're sick of cutting.
Oh,
But
okay.
if you like cutting, okay, great.
So we're just
We
dicing it
love
up? I mean, that's
yeah,
all
a little
we're doing,
dice.
right?
You know, even a little slicey to make it faster, whatever you want. You know, you don't even have to be so
Got some
precise.
serious skills.
Serious skills.
If there was no animal abuse in the world, I would just maybe spend my time just cutting vegetables all day.
You're hired. Do you
So-
like figs?
I love figs. In fact, when I travel, which is pretty much every week, I oftentimes just bring 1 bag of almonds and 1 bag of figs.
Really?
Or maybe apricots, and then just mix them up and eat them as a snack while I'm traveling.
Nice.
It's like you're in the Garden of Eden. That's so biblical to eat that way. That's neat. And then we'll just put everything in little bowls, and then we can assemble the tarts together.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's really simple. You can also do this. Let's say you just had some heirloom tomatoes from the farmer's market and some basil. With the Aoili, you can make those kind of tarts as
Nice,
well. So you can
alright.
just vary it up a little bit, no biggie. These are d'Anjou pears. They're just kind of, you know, a more mellow pear with a light thin skin. So do you like pears?
I
You a
love
fan?
pears, yeah.
Good. So we're just gonna cut these up.
And then just in half from there in the other direction so that you can fit them into these little tarts that we're
Oh,
gonna make.
okay.
With the pears, you don't want them to brown or, you know, change color very fast, so you can just put a little lemon juice on here, so just to prevent them from browning. And I added a little too much because we'll toss it together. You can also use apples if those are in season, or whatever, you know, whatever the fam likes.
Whatever the
Do
fam
whatever
likes.
the fam likes, yeah.
I think I would prefer the pears over the apples.
Yeah? Okay, good. I'm glad, we chose.
chose.
I'm glad
the
we chose
right-
pears.
The right one.
Yeah.
So we're almost done here.
If you don't want us to compost the core, you can have a little.
Oh, can I? Oh,
Oh, of
nice.
course.
I'm gonna compost it myself now.
It's a different kind of compost.
Nice.
Human compost. Then we're just gonna put it in this puff pastry. You have to thaw these for a good hour or 2 to get them to be pliable, right?
Okay.
So that's the only planning you have to do for this entire
Take them out of the
appetizer.
freezer a couple hours.
Yeah. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make little appetizer-sized pieces, right? So there's already a crease in here, so I'm just gonna cut along where the crease is, and then I'm gonna also just, you know, be able to turn these towards myself and just get about 3 squares out of each little strip.
Easy,
Okay?
right?
Very easy.
peasy.
So sometimes when you
peasy.
leave this out for too long, because sometimes people get really excited or they get distracted,
Our mom.
sometimes it sticks together, but you can just roll it out with a rolling pin if it starts looking funky, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah,
So
it's
there's no
all-
panicking in the kitchen.
No, we don't panic.
No one panics and we don't cry.
All right, I'm glad to hear there's no crying. So what do we
what we're
slather
gonna
some
do,
of this on
yeah,
here?
just a little dollop in the center there.
Alright, here we go.
Yeah,
What
a
are we
little
doing?
bit. There you go. Just in every single one. And this combo is really, it's delicious. So you get a little of the savory, a little of the sweet in here.
Yeah.
Very fall. All these things are very fall or winter. You can get the kids to help.
Yeah,
You can get
it
everybody
seems,
involved.
It seems childproof, actually.
You know, most cooking is pretty fun, pretty easy.
All right, we got the
So
sage.
then we're gonna take a little sprinkle of sage and put it in each one.
Ooh,
You
sounds
can't
good.
overdo it on the sage, right? Because that's a little strong.
Yeah.
So you just want a little hint.
It wouldn't be sage to do that.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Alrighty, perfect. There you go. Just a little sprinkle inside each one with the fig. If you were using fresh fig, then depending on how juicy and liquidy they were, you might want to coat them in a little flour, or else they're going to release a ton of liquid when you cook them.
Okay.
And then, again, with this, probably just 1 piece. And if you wanted, you can make this into a really big, you know, family-style tart, right? Like a freeform tart by folding up the edges of the big puff pastry. So this is a silpat, which is a silicone mat that you can use if you don't want to use parchment or anything to grease your cookie sheet. And it's tolerant up to like 500 and something degrees. So
Wow,
it's really
really?
heat tolerant
amazing.
Goes
plastic.
into space.
I was gonna
Doesn't-
say, this is like a NASA product?
Yeah, it
Wow.
totally
It
is.
is.
They use this stuff on spaceships, for
Wow,
real.
Great.
And it's non-toxic. We feel really safe using it, and you don't have to grease it, so you don't have to use
Yeah.
any additional fat.
Oh, nice.
So we make cookies with it. We roast yams and other vegetables with it. It's just really easy to clean, and everything just kind of peels right off of it.
How much does one of these cost?
It'll run you back about 20 bucks.
All right, that's not that
But
bad for,
I know
for
online,
space age technology.
yeah, you know, and it lasts like years and years. So it's non-disposable, so that you can use it over and over instead of parchment, instead of wasting all those trees.
Here's the fun part.
You pinch together one corner, and then I pinch the rest together and close it up with my thumb.
Ooh, that's such
so
a
you get
cute
this
little
little
tart.
package.
Isn't that cute? So what you really want to make sure of is that you really get these together and you really kind of
Yeah,
work this
really gotta-
together, or else in the oven they come apart, which is
Wow.
still delicious.
Which is
It's not the
okay.
worst thing that's ever happened, but it's nice to kind of make sure that that's going to stay closed.
Yeah, so you just kind of, you know, pinch it together, and the last one is the hardest one, but that's okay. You can just imagine what you can put inside of this, and you know, we don't recommend eating puff pastry every day, but for the holidays, it's okay.
It is
It's
a
a little
nice
treat
treat.
you're allowed. Nice, beautiful.
You want to space these out about at least an inch away from each other, because they do get a little bit, well, puff pastry
They're
puffs.
gonna puff out.
You know, and you cook them at a high heat because it really will help them to get crispy faster.
Oh, nice. All
So,
right.
and that was just one sheet of the puff pastry, right? So it yields 9 pieces for one sheet. If you wanted to have a party, just make more. I mean, we have enough filling for a whole
Yeah.
other sheet, but we don't necessarily have to bake those right now
Because we would eat them.
because we would eat them.
Yeah.
We are going to put this in the fridge, but after we bake these, we actually like to put some on top as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you don't have to, but it's, you know, it's a good idea.
Thank you for your assistance. It's at 425. So what we'll do is we'll put this on for about 10 minutes. Then we'll check on it and we'll rotate it because everything in the back of your oven cooks hotter than the front of your oven, so you always have to rotate halfway through.
We'll just give them a little rotation. Aren't they looking good?
Yeah, they're looking
See
good
how
so
these
far.
guys, this guy like came away a little bit?
yeah.
Still delicious.
My bad.
Look how good that one looks right there.
Oh, that's nice.
The mayonnaise kind of gets a cheesy texture when you put it in there too, which is
Okay.
good. So we'll set this aside and check on our tarts because I think that those are done.
Let's check it out. So you're looking for them to be golden brown on the top, and these are perfect.
That looks good. We can put our tarts on a platter and then top them with a little of our aioli. So these actually, they look nice. They're
yum.
finished. You can grab them and put them on here.
And part of the reason that people take so much time and celebrate the holidays is because they really put a lot of energy and heart and love into their food, right? So part of that is presentation. So we're just gonna top each one of these
So
with a
helpful.
little something something.
We even have like a little bit of sage.
Ooh, we want to top it off with a little
Like
bit of
just
sage.
one little
huh?
tiny,
One piece. We won't be
one
too
little-
overwhelming with the sage
you know,
here.
exactly, just the
It's
tiniest
like a
little
ornamental
bit
sage.
of color.
Yeah.
And when you are making food for a party, if you're doing a party and you call it heavy apps, right? So that's like not serving dinner but just doing appetizers.
Okay.
You need at least 3 to 5 pieces of the appetizer per person.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're just making an appetizers before dinner, you know, you can do about 2, but 3 to 5 if you're doing heavy apps is a good rule of thumb.
All right.
These are ready to go.